Today we are going to discuss about the different sectors of the Indian economy. We all know that daily we look at different people working in different fields. For example, we look at farmers working in the field. We look at people who are making bricks from the mud. We look at people who are making pottery. We look at people who are doing their artistic people, craftsmen, weavers, the person who is bringing the postal letters, postman. So all these different jobs, what we look at people around us is called different sectors. So today in our lesson, we are going to learn about the sectors of the Indian economy. How are the different sectors that are functioning in the Indian economy? Indian economy is known for its variety of work style. In Indian economy also we have different sections or sectors of people working. We already know that generally the categorization of the country, whether it is a developed nation or developing nation or still an underdeveloped nation, but still needs clarification on which sector the more number of people are working. Depending on the number of people working in the different sectors, the country will be categorized into a developed, non-developed or a developing country. The first sector what we call is the primary sector. What is a primary sector? The primary sector is nothing but what we take from nature is called primary sector. For example, let us take milk. Milk is taken from the animals directly, which we get naturally. Here we are not adding anything to get milk. Mineral ores, which we get from the nature directly. Coal, which we get from the nature. Agriculture, we till the soil and we start to cultivate the land, primary sector. Forest, from forest whatever we get, the fruits, the different kinds of animals, the different kinds of fruit, medicinal herbs, all these come from the as a asset from the forest. Forestry, dairy, farming, agriculture, quarrying, cutting down the stones, hills, quarrying, and also doing fishing. All these things come under the basic occupations or the primary sector, where we are directly dependent on the nature. Primary means depending on the nature. The sectors which come under the primary are agriculture, farming, fishing, quarrying, mining, etc. These all come under the category of primary sector. In India, nearly 70% of the Indians depend on the primary sector. Most of the Indians even today are depending on the primary sector. Why we call primary sector? Because here people are directly getting access to the nature. We are directly exploiting the nature. That's why it is called primary sector. Most of the people are dependent on the primary sector. The second sector is the secondary sector. In the secondary sector, the products what we get from the nature are being transformed into another form. For example, you take the raw materials from the nature and again get them transformed into another form. That is called secondary sector. This is mostly done in the factories or industries. The secondary sector is nothing but identifying the important raw materials and making them to transform into useful products in this earth is called as transformation of the old raw material into very useful, valuable product. For example, let us take cotton. We get it from the plant. Once the cotton is taken away from the plant, the cotton has been weaved through spinning mills and we make the spinning threads, from where the cotton shirts are being made and the branded shirts will be sold all around the world in the international market. So what we took as a raw material is from the nature, that is from the plant. The cotton balls were taken from the plant. whereas the most valuable product of the cotton shirt with the brand will be getting in the market, that will be got from the factories. The one more example what we have is, let us take the mud from the earth. The mud from the earth will be taken and the pots will be made, and also the costly bricks will be made. These bricks are used to construct big buildings and everything. So the same mud which is available in the nature will be taken as a raw material and it will be transformed into a great thing. So this transformation is highly important in the secondary sector. So whatever gets transformed from its original state and structure to a new form is called secondary structure, as it is most of the times done in the industries or the factories. It is also called as industrial sector. It is also called as industrial sector. Now the third sector is the service sector. This service sector plays an important role in manufacturing of the goods after they are finished. We have seen the primary goods or the primary sector where the raw materials which are taken from the nature and we are utilizing them. When it comes to the secondary, we are using the raw material and we are transforming them into high valuable goods. Once the high valuable good is done, that has to be carried to the nearest marketplace or to the retail shop, and then marketing has to be done. This carrying of the product from one place to another place is called transportation. Transportation comes under the category of service sector. So once the product is transferred, and again you need to do the marketing there, and the transaction has to be done. So through transaction you get the banking institutions. So banking services have come into existence. So transportation, banking services. So all these things are service oriented, where they do not use any raw materials for you to build or to manufacture something. They try to be useful for you by providing their services. For example, teachers. For any school, we require a quality teacher to teach. In the same process, we also need doctors to give treatment in the hospital. Simply, if we just build a hospital and keep it, you cannot get the patients to be treated by walls and by the stethoscope. You need a professional doctor who can understand the people and who can give a right treatment for the right disease. So these all things brings the variation. In the same way, we also need personals like washerman, dhobi, or we also need a barber. We also need various kinds of other people who render their services for us. In turn, they are paid for that. So the people, those are coming under the category of providing services or receiving services. For example, you need to call to somebody. If you are at very close distance, you can talk to them and you can shout at them, or you can call them loudly. But when we are talking to people who are at far off places, we need a network connectivity there. That is the telephone. From telephone, we again have the STD network system. So all these things will bring the variation for us. This understanding is very important. So nowadays, ATM machines, booths, telephone booths, internet services, software technologies, medical facilities, banking facilities, financial sector, all these things have been categorized under the category of service sector. Here